first thing I would do is turn off the news, since it's not really helping and it's specialists in programming us to fall into fear. I would say go on a news diet. At this point, maybe look at the news for a couple minutes, find out what the highlights are, and turn the darn thing off and get a different perspective and get a more positive perspective. I'm inviting people to consider that maybe the universe, the divine, God, nature, Gaia, pick any word that feels right, is actually in charge. This is our time for meditation, for contemplation, for creation, for communication, but it's all done within ourselves. We are given this amazing opportunity by what's going on in the world right now to actually reflect, grow, redirect in many ways. For lots of people, this is their first opportunity to learn how to make money from home. And thanks to the internet, which is making even this conversation possible, we're able to communicate in a way that previous generations, or 100 years ago when there was a plague going through, they couldn't do it. They couldn't keep up with anybody, and they couldn't work from home in the way that we can do now. A lot of people look around saying, I don't know the meaning of life. And the punchline is, you provide the meaning. You provide the meaning. You don't have to go look for the meaning. You provide the meaning. What does it mean to you? Ask yourself, what does life want from you today? What does life want from you today? This wonderful blessing we have of, we've all been sent to our room in a sense. The planet has sent us to our room to give us something to think about. And what we can think about is, what's our contribution? So many people are looking around and saying to themselves, when's the government going to help me? Or when's the relief going to come? Or when's the virus going to be cured? Instead, we need to be looking inside ourselves and saying, what does life need that I can provide? And it doesn't have to be on the noble level of a cure for the virus. If you got it, please deliver it. But it can just be making a difference in your family, in your household, in your business, stuck right where you are. Sometimes just creating something gave you meaning, whatever we call it. God, the universe, Gaia, there's so many names for this higher power, this invisible source that is intelligence. Whatever that is, this is our time to connect to it, or reconnect if we've lost. But this is our time to go within and look for the esoteric internet, if you will, and connect to that. People sitting at home, the first thing you have to do is decide, what is it that you would like to do? I want to make money from home. I want to learn a language. I want to play an instrument. I want to learn how to bake cookies. I don't know, whatever it is. But the very first thing is you set an intention. Here's the next thing that happens that most people don't acknowledge and they don't like. Fear sets in. So it's not unusual for somebody sitting at home saying to themselves, well, I want to do something, but I'm afraid. Guess what? We all get afraid when we want to do something we've never done before. It's called leaving our comfort zone. Our comfort zone feels comfortable because we've been living in it for quite a while. And people sitting at home and they're thinking, well, I'm going to make money at home, or I'm going to develop a product or a service. It's the unknown that makes them nervous. But if you ask yourself, where's the proof that I can't do this? The honest answer is, there is no proof. And with that one belief taken away, you can proceed. Nobody's thinking about you. You're thinking about yourself. You're worried about yourself. It's all part of survival. But with all these different techniques and these questionings, the negative visualization from Stoicism, you can actually fortify yourself and go for your dreams with comfort and strength. And you will find people who will be attracted to that mindset. It's their mindset that is attracting the other people's mindset. Because of my particular beliefs, I tend to attract into my orbit, my personal orbit, people who have similar beliefs. So the law of attraction is working on this esoteric groupthink level. It's also working very individually. We bring it right back down to you and right back down to me and the things that I'm focused on. You have a reticular activating system in the back of your head. It is programmed for survival. So right now, the law of attraction is an unconscious program focused on survival, and it's working because you're watching this interview. But most people don't know you can program it for something else. You can program it for something you would like to do at home. You want to make money from home. I'm a money guy, so it's one of the first things that comes up. But there may be other things that you want to do at home. You want to state those things as an intention. Intention is like the ignition in the car, push button or with a key that activates your body and mind to go in a particular direction. So what's your intention? What do you want to do while you're in solitary confinement and you're confined to your quarters at home? That's the first thing. Then you want to use the intention and program your mind with these three things. The first is you need an image. The brain responds to images. It needs a graphical representation of what you want to have, do, or be. The second thing you need is emotion. You cannot create without emotion. Most people, especially right now, are focused on fear and hate. Well, there's a third powerful emotion. It's love. Fear, hate, and love are activators. They activate our brain because they're like fire. It's like throwing coal or gas or kerosene or whatever example might work in different people's brains. So you need an emotion. When you're looking at whatever the graphic is of the image that you want to look at it with love. You want to look at it with passion. You want to look at it with a positive emotion, not fear, not hate. You get more of what you focus on. If you focus on fear and hate, you got to get more to fear and more to hate. I'm talking about the conscious use of your own brain. And so you want to have the graphic, step one. You want to have emotion. So you look at the graphic with the positive feeling of it would be great to drive that thing or own that thing or to be receiving checks or commissions while at home for work that you're doing and work that you love. Then the third thing to program the mind is repeat it, repetition. In order to reprogram the reticular activating system, you want to keep telling it, this is what I want, this is what I want, which is why people create vision boards that they can put on their wall. They can also take a picture of it, put it on their phone, their laptop, their refrigerator, their headboard, their mirror. And what you're doing is telling your brain, I want this. And with the power of the image and with the fire of the emotion, and then with the very practical repetition, the reticular activating system now grasps, oh, this is the other goal you want. This is your intention. And what it does is in each moment, it filters out the 14 billion bits of information flying around at any moment and makes you consciously aware of the 6 or 7 bits of information that can help you attract the very thing you said you wanted as your intention. So be careful what you wish for. And I want people to be super aware of what they're asking for and what they're talking about, because the universe is always listening. You could just take it right down to basic psychology and take the universe out of it and say your subconscious mind is always listening. But there is a creating aspect of you that is listening to what you say. And when people are stating their affirmations, I want them to be positive. I want them to be short. I want them to be declarations of what you want to have, do, or be. We want to take away the fear. We want to take away the danger. We don't want to put that into the universe because the universe is listening. We want to actually declare, well, if you really believed that you could have, do, or be anything that you could imagine, how would you state that? You would state that in such a positive way that you wouldn't leave any room for error and you wouldn't leave any leeway for something negative to happen. You would be as specific as possible. And I think the affirmation needs to be in that way. I think it's a form of self-talk, and self-talk is probably another subject to look at it maybe another time, but it's the whole idea that what we're telling ourselves are affirmations. They could be called negations, because we're not actually affirming the positive, we're actually affirming the negative. And so we want to be aware, what are we thinking, what are we affirming, what are we stating, and do it in the sense of the universe is magical and you are a wizard and it is listening and it will provide. So do be careful what you wish for. I think it's one thing to think them, which is a step in the right direction. It's another thing to speak them, which is certainly a more powerful step than just thinking them. But to me, the more powerful step is to actually write them. So when you're writing them, you're actually doing something physical. And so the cursor way is the way that I would probably do it, because my brain was trained to respect that kind of activity. And if I write something down, I'm physically involved in it. I'm actually doing things that my brain is recording. Plus, it's also detached from me. So in other words, while it's me moving my hand, I'm actually observing the moving of my hand. I'm actually reading what I'm writing. And of course, in my head, I'm dictating what I'm writing. So for me, the writing of affirmations is the most powerful thing you can do.